Hello there, the YouTube. My name is Rob and I love photography. Two other things I love are mysteries and history. So the mystery of old photography, sign me up. That's my kind of story. And that leads quite nicely into what we're talking about today, which is the story of Ronald Gibson's photography studio in Hackney, London. Ronald Gibson set up this photography studio in 1952 and it quickly became the photography studio in London. Now, due to the expensive nature of the equipment, it was probably also the only photography studio, but nonetheless it became famous all over the UK and people were coming from miles around to have their portraits taken here. Sadly, Mr. Gibson sold his company back in 1983 and the business shut down entirely in 2013. A year after the company shut down, a photography archive was donated 150,000 negatives from the Ronald Gibson Photography Studio. Now, from what I've read, it's not clear if these negatives were from pictures that were eventually sent out, or if all of these 150,000 photos were just never sent out to the people who ordered them, although that would explain why the business shut down. Either way, the photos range from 1952, when the business opened, all the way up to 1978. Now, as I say, there are 150,000 of these negatives, and the archive is currently trying to digitize all of them, and has in the past few years managed to do that to 15,000 of them. Now that's quite impressive, it just means that there is now 135,000 negatives still left to do. Now, of those 15,000 negatives that have currently been digitized, a few hundred of them exist on a Flickr page. Link is in the description if you want to check those out. More on that in a minute. The thing that makes this story so interesting though is that of those 15,000 pictures that have been digitized, a lot of them don't have any information on whatsoever, which is crazy that you could have this many pictures with no information. I mean, you'd think you could just go into the image file and check the metadata, right? Analog photos don't have metadata. Oh, that's going to be difficult then. Now, since we're talking about pictures from 30 or 40 years ago with no data to go on whatsoever, it's quite difficult to actually work out who any of these people are. So the company is kind of relying on social media. They want to share the pictures around and see if anybody recognizes their grandparent or themselves when they were younger, and then they could get in touch and say, oh, that's me, here's some data you can have. Now, you'd think this task would be a bit easier because it was based in Hackney in London, but because the photography studio was so successful, they had people come from all over the UK there, so these pictures could be from anywhere. If anything, this is just a cautionary tale about meticulous organisation of your photography. I think we can all agree. Now, obviously it's quite a long shot that anybody watching this video is going to go to the Flickr page and suddenly recognise somebody from 40 years ago. But first of all, you never know. That could happen. And secondly, I think this is just a fascinating project. The idea of trying to reunite people who were in these pictures with them now, just through social media, it shows just how impressive technology has come. So overall, I think this story just encapsulates everything that is great about photography. It's capturing moments in time and then reuniting them with the people in those photos 40, 50 or 60 years later. So if you want to go online and look at some people you don't know's wedding 40 years ago, actually no, now say it does sound really strange. Check out the Flickr page, there is a link in the description. It's an absolutely fascinating look into the past. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click like down there, subscribe over there. Let me know in the comments if you like this. I do want to be doing more photography videos, so let me know. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go look at some pictures of some random old people.